With the way things are going, the End Bad Governance movement or protest will probably end the same way the End SARS one ended, because we are handling it exactly the same way the End SARS one was handled. We are now protesting rights. This is what I imagine the process of bringing about change looks like. Let's take it step by step, then we'll use End SARS as an example. Okay, so it goes protest. You figure out the problem. We're going to use End SARS as this one. The solution, you already have the solution in mind. Protests are not meant to be used to solve the problem. They're just meant to be used to create awareness about the problem so that someone who is capable will find out about the problem and then solve it. Most of the time is pleading to the government to solve the problem, which they most likely usually never do. Next is to create awareness. When you already have the problem and solution in mind, creating awareness is the next step. And the reason why we are creating awareness is to be able to influence that person that I just talked about to solving this issue. So there are three ways we could be able to solve the issue. It will be change the people's behavior, which is just regular citizens, change the civilians' behavior in order to solve the problem. Change the laws, which is what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to do with NSAS, and fundraising, which is still influencing people, trying to get money out of their hands in order to solve the issue. So if we used End Bad Governance as an example, we wanted to solve the problem using changing laws, which is just influencing the government, but we did not go about it the right way. The solution for that one would have been if there was an external body that could be policing the police. Something like that would have been commissioned if we had enough leverage to make the government change, but that didn't happen. And that solution would have been gathering a lot of the people who were harassed by NSAS, getting all of them to file suits and fundraise in order to fund lawyers to escalate these suits. That will cause like a backlog or like an issue in the courts. That would be a problem that has to be solved immediately. That's enough leverage that could have been used to kind of sway this change the law, which is sway the government to do what you wanted them to do. But for that to happen, we have to create leverage. Now, if we use this End Bad Governance as an example, you would say the problem End Bad Governance. The solution is much harder than End SARS, because for you to say End Bad Governance, you want the government to solve this problem. But the things are, why would they? If you're saying the government is corrupt, therefore the government is benefiting off its corruption. So solving that issue would affect them. So if you really wanted bad governance to end, you wouldn't be asking the government itself to end it. You would be trying to end it yourself. And based on what I said previously, you have to have leverage. And we don't have leverage at all in order to ask for this. Let's say if you say you wanted to end bad governance, you need the people to actually do something about it. For example, our population is very docile. Nigerians are very docile. It's funny because we are known to be loud, but when it comes to things like this, we are very quiet and meek. So if this was ever to be solved, the solution would be to change the people's behavior and fundraise in order to get leverage to the people, almost the same as NSAS. But this one, you cannot expect the government, which is change laws over here, you cannot expect the government to solve this problem. So the reason why this movement will probably end like the last one is because we haven't been focusing on the right thing, which is giving the people enough leverage to influence the government to do what they want them to do, which is end bad governance. I think in the next video or the next slide, I'll talk about how we can get leverage. Yeah.